Hi, my name is Hope Nicholson. I'm a small press publisher and a comics historian. I focus on works that generally aren't very well known to the public, so feminist comic book history, indigenous comic, and I try to represent works from people from all different walks of life.
We're here on Nerd Girl Nation with comic historian Hope Nicholson. Welcome, Hope.
Hi, good to be here.
What is it that makes you a nerd girl?
For me, it's being like really obsessive about comic book, not just history, but comic book factoids, delving into the backstories. I've read comics from the 1940s through to today in every single format possible: zines, underground comics, Tijuana Bibles, graphic novels, trade collections, webcomics, everything. And I love knowing everything there is to know about certain characters.
Who's your favorite female comic book character of all time and why?
I usually say Dazzler. She was great. She was like created in the 1980s, but she was like a 70s throwback. She was a disco-powered mutant with the ability to convert sound to light.
Oh, I have to read her.
So she had like kind of Kiss-style sparkly face paint on. She had a silver jumpsuit. It was kind of ridiculous. Oh, and roller skates that magnetically adhered to her feet.
Oh, she sounds so cool.
She was very cool, and she's changed a lot over the years, but like definitely like the 80s version of her, I grew up reading.
I've always thought that comics means superheroes and science fiction and lots of carnage. Is it still that way today?
Superhero is definitely the most popular genre in comics, but it's not always been the case. Like in the 1950s, for example, horror comics were really huge, westerns were really huge, and romance comics were actually really, really big. And those started to fade out about the 1970s or so. Superheroes, as soon as they started coming out in the late 1930s, really quickly overtook everything. And people love them. People love to see exciting people on the page with superpowers.
I want to talk about comic books, but then you meet someone like you who knows like 18,000 million more facts, and I'm like, Spider-Man's pretty cool.
Spider-Man is pretty cool, though.
Yeah, but then you're like, but I know the guy who invented Spider-Man's mum, and I'm like, fantastic. I know he shoots webs.
Out of his web shooters, though, like not
it doesn't come out of his
organically.
skin in the
No,
Tobey
no.
Maguire version. He has like shooting.
Yeah, he has to like build that.
He has to build
I
it,
think
right?
they've changed that sometimes.
Yeah, it swaps back and forth.
Yeah.
Why are comics and nerds and geeks always, put together in the same pile and pot?
There are a lot of sci-fi comics, and sci-fi obviously has a lot of things to do with technology. So if you're into technology, you might also be into comics that showcase that technology, I think. And most of it is about like the underdogs and the weirdos, and those are the people who gravitate towards making things with coding and technology, and the people who want to see superheroes on the screen, like idealized versions of themselves.
Did you think Ben Affleck sucked as Batman?
I thought he was a great Bruce Wayne.
Thank you. That is an amazing answer.
That was wonderful.
That is really good. I never thought of it like that. I thought he was a great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
When I saw Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I lost my banana peels. Has that been a cool shift to see a female dominance?
I'm more into Marvel than DC, so I'm probably a bit more excited for the Captain Marvel movie.
Okay.
But it's taken so long. It's very frustrating to see that the shift has taken so long. Female creators have been around, definitely female characters have been around, and in huge amounts. So to see the TV and film industry and the toy merchandise industry in particular take so long to catch up to the fact that we want to see women in the pages and characters is frustrating. So I wish I could be like more excited, more enthusiastic, but I'm still like, all right, like where's all the toys at though? Like, I mean, kids love Sailor Moon, and that's about warrior women characters in cool, bright uniforms. You think that people would have taken that as a lesson of, no, girls will buy things.
That's indicative of the market because girls' toys always come out afterwards.
Do you think it's a good thing how women's bodies are depicted in comic books? Because I feel like forever it's just been huge boobies, popping booty, and then they run around with like half zipped up suits. Do you think that's a way of empowering women's sexuality, or do you think it knocks it back a couple of steps?
I think it's when it's the only presentation you have, it definitely is not a good thing. So having the odd character like Power Girl or Emma Frost who loves their body and loves showing it off, and that's cool and that's fine. But when that's the only type of presentation you have, and when it's drawn in a way where it's clearly for the male gaze, as they say, it's no fun. So I'm reading and I'm like, I'm not getting anything out of this. This is not important to me. Like, show me the girl picking out her outfit and like getting really excited to try it on. That's like something that's a bit more empowering to me in terms of scantily clad ladies. But we are seeing a shift towards a bit more realistic depictions, and I think that's due to a lot more criticism coming out of female readers being like, hey, like, come on, guys, like, pick up your game a bit.
Yeah, Avengers did that well, especially with Scarlett Johansson's character, and Jessica Jones does that well, which is, I believe, one of your favorites as well. Is that correct?
I think it's definitely my favorite adaptation of a comic book to like a movie or a TV show, because it frames a character in a way that's very accurate to the series, but it also makes it better than the comic book was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure.
That's such a huge leap.
And I liked the comic.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard anyone be like, the TV show's better than the book.
Oh,
like,
the TV show was way better than
All I have is my professional reputation.
Give me a clue. What's going on here?
Yeah, that clip doesn't tell you much, eh? So Jessica Jones is a character who was really idealistic, had these superpowers that were kind of foisted upon her, and decided to do some good work with it. And then she gets manipulated and put under the control of this guy with superpowers, where he can control everything around him. And she's been through some drama, so she drinks a lot. She has kind of...
She looks like a badass.
She is definitely a badass, but she still has like a heart of gold underneath that, so she's tough. And she's damaged, but she still knows what to do the right thing in the end. And that's something that really drives through the series in a really, really good way. I mean, the difference between a character like Jessica Jones and Harley Quinn is that they both have people who are really psychological abusers in their lives. But unfortunately, the way they're portrayed is very different. In Jessica Jones, it's very clearly something that she has to overcome, something that she has to work at within herself, and, you know, eventually externally also work it out by beating him up. And in Harley Quinn, for the longest time, it was seen as like almost a romantic ideal. Her and the Joker, and even though he would taunt her and manipulate her and beat her up, it was portrayed as somehow still romantic.
I know how to make some smiles, Puddin'.
Which is obviously
not a good thing.
No,
not a good thing.
And they're luckily making big changes to this in the comic books now, and they showcase her breaking away from that and actually turning against him. And that's been something that's been so relieving to see after many years of seeing girls and their boyfriends dressing up as Joker and Harley Quinn and thinking, oh, guys.
How does it go from comics to TV? What's the attraction?
The character Harley Quinn actually started off in the Batman cartoons, and now she's been brought into the Suicide Squad in the movieverse. And now she's also joining the Suicide Squad, I think, in the comics now as well. So it's a weird thing where it goes back and forth between different forms of mediums.
How has the digital age of technology changed the business?
It's changed business in a lot of really exciting ways. Digital coloring makes it a lot easier for people to work together and get really intense looks on the pages. Definitely a lot easier for artists to, if they make a mistake with their line work, can now just digitally erase it. In terms of how fans interact, it definitely makes it easier for social media to bring people together, to broadcast. Maybe you're a straight person, but you really want to help broadcast LGBT voices. You can, retweet a link, or you can tell a writer, hey, the way you portray that character really wasn't cool. And it's kind of nice to be able to have that direct interaction and see that change happen, where before you might just have grumbled about it in your head.
We have had a great time with Hope Nicholson talking about comics, history, and how they've transitioned to some great shows. Thank you, Hope. We'll see you soon, and good luck on your newest ventures.
Thank you.
I heard you got a special party where the comic books are great, an evening that dazzles like a disco-powered mutant on a roller skates. The power is in your bones like Jessica Jones. You're a marvel, I do see. So girl, I got just one question. Is there any room for me? I'm looking for an invite. Alright, to your geek girl social night. Wanna talk about sci-fi? Use your Wi-Fi. We can dance in the laser light. We're never gonna conform. We just transform into what we know is right. So tell me when it's said and done, we'll be having fun at your It's your Geek Girl Social Night.